We'll start with a question for Senator Tester from Mike Dennison. He will have a minute to respond, then Representative Rehberg will have a minute to comment, and then Senator Tester will have 30 seconds for a final response. Mike Dennison.
Good evening, Senator Tester.
Good evening, Mike.
I assume that on November 6th, you're going to vote for President Obama. I'd like you to tell us why you support him and why his re-election and your re-election is good for Montana and the country.
Well, I think if you take a look at what the Commander-in-Chief has done as far as taking care of Osama bin Laden, and doing some things in the Middle East to take care of the war on terrorism in a big, big way, I think that's been very, very positive for the country. Look, when he took over, the country was hemorrhaging 800,000 jobs a month. Now, the job growth isn't where we want it to be, but we're certainly starting to see some job growth in the country, and I think that that's been very positive. As far as myself is concerned, I think that the level of responsibility and accountability that I brought to Washington, D.C., and transparency are unmeasured. I was the first person to put my schedule online, first person to do an audit, first person to carry bills that really make Washington, D.C.'s government look a lot like Montana's. Montana's government is very, very open. I think it's open not only for folks like you, Mike, but for folks out in the audience to be able to access databases that tell people what's going on in Washington, D.C. We're 2,000 miles away, and oftentimes access to those databases for letting folks know what's going on critically important. I won't get into rules or infrastructure or veterans. My time is up.
Thank you. Representative Rehberg, 1 minute.
There are two paths that we can take in this country. Senator Tester and President Obama have taken one path. In fact, he's voted with President Obama 95% of the time. What has that given us? It's given us a health care reform that didn't reform health care. It just added more people to a failed system. It gave us a failed stimulus. And what did it do? The only shovel-ready project that it really funded in a large sort of way was adding an additional $1 trillion debt on our middle class. And it also gave us not necessarily an energy policy, but an environmental policy. And you don't have to look very far down the street to see the closing Corette plant. It's going to cost us 35 jobs. It's going to cost the city of Billings over $10 million a year in income in the surrounding area. It's going to add as much as 25% to our utility bills as you go around the country. And it's the equivalent of shutting off the electricity to 100,000 homes. That's the entire city of Billings. That's the kind of economics that we've gotten from the failed policy of President Obama, and frankly, from the failed policy of Senator Tester.
Senator Tester, you have 30-second response.
Well, thank you, Steve. I want you to notice that Congressman Rehberg didn't ask the question, didn't ask why you should vote for him. The fact of the matter is we have a broken health care system in this country, and we had to take some changes to make sure that people with pre-existing conditions could get health insurance. Folks that get sick and don't get kicked off by insurance companies. So bottom line is we had to hold insurance companies accountable. That's what we did. As far as the stimulus package goes, we may be getting into these questions later in the debate. I don't know. But as far as the stimulus package goes, Shiloh Road, courthouse are pretty important to Billings. In fact, I think the Shiloh Road, Congressman, actually provides an avenue to get to one of your developments. So the fact is that the work that was done out there is critically important as we're going to move forward. I hope we get to the Corette plant somewhere in here, or I will address it later on. Thank you very much.
Senator Tester.